809. Calls are free from a landline, but you will be charged if you're calling from a mobile.
You can email us through our website at bbc.co.uk/Sunday Life.
Or text LIFE plus your comment to 63399. Text costs no more than 15p. Here's something else you might want to talk about. If you're big, is your boss likely to think less of you?
Yes, according to a recent survey of personnel officers, in which 93% said they'd favour the slimmer of two job applicants with equal skills.
And in Scotland, a row over weight could lead to a strike by firemen.
Kevin Ogilvie has been sacked because Grampian Fire and Rescue Service say he's not fit for duty.
Okay, comrades, we call a meeting to order.
The Fire Brigade's union disagrees and said he could be deployed away from frontline duty, and they voted to back him.
We've made every effort to resolve this matter by exchanging dialogue with management and board members, but unfortunately they've informed us that the matter is concluded and it leaves our members with no other alternative than to ballot for strike action.
The management say that firefighters need a level of fitness above that of the general population.
We feel it's a disproportionate reaction to the application of a service policy that's been agreed by the Firefighter Union, which is designed to keep firefighters fit, to be able to perform the role of a firefighter and serve the communities as best we can as an organisation.
If the dispute isn't resolved, a ballot will be held at the end of the summer.
Well, with me is the businesswoman Tracy Carr, also Adrian Barnes, who's a specialist in employment law. Morning to you both. Tracy, you have had problems at work because of your weight. What happened to you?
I worked for an international, multinational company, 250,000 employees worldwide, worked there 8 years, had a great reputation professionally, promoted up through the ranks. And then in the course of the morning, I was just told that I had to leave because the chair I was using wasn't safe. And I was kept out of work for 9 weeks. It took them 9 weeks to find me a replacement chair.
Okay, do you accept that perhaps the chair, they were worried about you? That's the reason why they did it?
I do accept that, but they wouldn't give me work to work at home, and they also didn't address the issues like, you know, chairs in meeting rooms, conference rooms, etc., etc. I was literally sort of marched off site, which felt very wrong. And professionally, it sort of ruined all the projects I was working on, and people asked lots of questions, you know, had I been sacked, was I being suspended for misconduct? It just left lots of questions, really.
Adrian, and to you, is something like this common nowadays?
It is. I mean, there is a reason why they've done that. They've handled it incredibly insensitively. But once you identify a health and safety risk, you have to act on it. And if you don't, if the chair had collapsed the next day, then obviously they'd have been sued. So they've got to act on the risk. But there's ways and means of doing things, and what they did was stunningly insensitive.
Okay, also, just briefly, also the fireman as well. I mean, if you sort of think about it, you can think, well, that does make sense. He's a fireman. If he's not fit, then there are issues, aren't there?
The fire brigade have done everything that they should do. They've gone through the capability situation. They've provided a fitness area. They've done all the things that they're supposed to do. What they haven't done is that last little step. Why on earth didn't they find him a sedentary job? He's been in the firm for 20 years. For goodness sake, you can find him a job behind a desk somewhere. Granted, he shouldn't be doing the job that he was there employed to do, but they could have found him something else. I understand that
they did look at that, but couldn't find an appropriate role. So does that make a difference?
Well, it does. If they've tried and there isn't something, then obviously they've got to make a decision. But I find it difficult to believe that the fire service couldn't find something. They're a huge organisation.
Tracy, do you have at all any empathy with that story?
Yeah, completely, and firemen need to be fit for the job that they do, so I completely understand that. But the word fit has lots of definitions, and there's fit to win a medal athletically, and there's fit to sit behind a desk, and they're different definitions. He may not have been fit for the job that he was doing, but he's certainly fit to work in the fire service, and it sounds like he has 20 years valuable experience that's just been thrown away.
Well, what have you done since?
Set up my own company. So I design clothes for London. Personally, I think good clothes are the starting point for team, and they help you, obviously, in the workplace, etc. But I see the discrimination issues past me now.
And we were talking about that, about employers choosing slimmer candidates over perhaps not. Do you have sympathy with that view? That perhaps, I mean, I don't know what they're thinking. What do you think it is?
We don't have any legislation that says that you can't distinguish between a fat or a slim person. And statistics seem to show that we do pick the so-called normal size when we want to employ someone. But equally we do the same with someone perhaps with long hair or someone with facial hair. You know, anybody that's different or outside the norm, we tend to discriminate against in one way or another, whether we do it subconsciously or not.
Is that fair?
Whether it's fair or not, I don't know. Our legislation is a bit bizarre in that we have certain areas that we have discrimination, and we, you know, you can't discriminate against age, sex, sexual orientation, religious, all sorts of things. But how far do you go? The Americans have the fat and slim, the fat and short law in certain states, and of course they've got the Americans with Disabilities Act that recognises obesity as a disability. We don't do that here. And I'm not sure that we really ought to be looking at having more laws. We need to make the ones we have work better for us.
Tracy, quickly, finally to you. If you had to go for a job interview now, would you be concerned about your size?
Yes, because it is a factor when you're facing employment. Trying to get past the invisible prejudice. People won't be blatant, but yes, it strongly exists and it's hard to find.
Would you do anything to change it then?
I
Change yourself?
think we need to look at a tolerant, inclusive society that recognises everybody has a valuable contribution to make.
Okay, thank you very much, Tracy. Thank you, Adrian, as well. Thanks.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, still to come on today's programme.